It's Christopher Robin, isn't it? Do you think the Queen knows all about me? And she's bound to do. It's time for tea. I think might be the next one.
Jonathan's place in serious musical life in Britain is, I think, a very important one. And it is based on the fact that he combines deep seriousness with an appeal in his writing.
Jonathan's a great person to work with, and I think, everybody that I work with in terms of the commissioners and the performers all have had a great time meeting him. He's very generous with his time. He and he understands. He's very sensitive and kind.
I suppose music for me started with my mother playing the piano. It was a sound I used to hear at night drifting off to sleep. My mother was an architect, but at night she would play the piano, and then the next day I would try and copy the things that I'd heard her playing.
What is it, Pinocchio? The voice, the hair, it is you!
As a child I had this obsession with model theatres. And so alongside music there was always theatre, and I think when I discovered opera I suddenly realised I could have both these things together. And so for me that is often the most exciting thing I can think of. In my 20s I did a lot of work with opera companies, and some of that was being a chorus master.
And so he would on the one hand be playing the piano for opera rehearsals with a fierce passion for donuts, so that the keyboard was constantly covered in sugar, and I seemed to spend most of my time cleaning the keyboard at the end of the day so that it wasn't too disgusting. And so one thought, well, who is this very clever person? And he didn't look like a clever person. He was sort of handsome and cool and outgoing, and he just seemed to have everything.
T-shirts, discos, suits, falafel, foreigners, cabs, notions and donkeys and shells and elastic and kitties with perkins and tans, fantastic snorkels and sunburn and towels and sandy and novels that make you feel overly randy. T-shirts and tops, discos, falafels, beers and bikinis, foreigners, cabs, pina coladas and novels and feta and things are just getting better and better.
We just embarked on this project together, and we kind of did it piecemeal. And when we had actually, I couldn't think of an idea for ages, and then someone mentioned to me the story of the refugee in the airport, and I just thought, oh, maybe that's a really good idea. And I told it to Jonathan, and I just saw his eyes light up. He suddenly saw things that I couldn't really see in that story that were about music. That's a kind of wonderful thing when you're working with him. He just understands music and theatre, the two together.
Make me.
He understands drama. I mean, in a very, very fundamental way, I think he's interested in stories, in drama, and where the drama lies. And he can always, he's got an unerring instinct really to go straight for the drama. What is the scene about? What would that emotion sound like? What does that scene sound like? What is the climax of that scene? And I think that's something that we share. We're both really, really interested in drama and stories. But I think that's the fundamental thing that as an opera composer he has, is that he knows how to tell a story and what's required from the story, to be thinking dramatically and musically at the same time. I think is quite a rare thing.
His style is extremely original, but at the same time it's easy for the audience to enter in initially, and then on repeated hearing you hear the other things that are there, the depths that are there. I've conducted The Adventures of Pinocchio probably 50 times, and I still find something new in it each time.
I think probably my most favourite element of Jonathan's compositional style is just the way his music fits the voice. He seems to understand the instrument, And sometimes you look at it on the page and you think that's going to be difficult, and then you try it and you're like, actually, you know what, that really works. And so I've enjoyed it, both as a director and also as a singer, very much.
Choirs love Jonathan's music. You never have any resistance to his music. When you introduce it to a choir, you say, give it out, here's a new piece. Here we go. Well, that'll be all right then. Even if we're going to have to work very hard at it, because the will is there, because somehow he's spoken directly to every individual in the room.
I had the most extraordinary experience rehearsing There Was a Child. It was an early chorus rehearsal, and we got to the end of one movement. I've never had this experience in my life, and the whole room had to stay silent for 2 minutes. None of us could speak. There wasn't anything that could be said. The way he set those words of such a deeply personal and tragic story, but in such a human way, everybody in that room felt it in their heart. And that silence is something I will never forget, entirely due to what the music did to us all.
I think there are all kinds of ways in which a work of art has value. For example, it can offer a place to grieve, it can offer a space of contemplation, or simply a chance to dwell upon something, to really reflect, however painful that might be. And there's a chance to kind of recharge your humanity, to reconnect with it.
He really understands the voice well. He knows opera, he knows singers, and I think he loves singers. I think you can tell from the way he writes for us that he loves singers, and so that's why it's such a pleasure to sing his stuff.
I think there are times when I am completely surprised by a lyric, a poem, and it demands to be sung. And sometimes in the moment I read it, I can hear something, maybe not the whole piece, but I get a feeling that there's music in there, and music that I want to hear.
If you are singing about Seek Him That Maketh the Seven Stars, he makes you feel like you are already in space and heading towards them. And it's that writing, like our piece that he wrote for us at the BBC Symphony Chorus this summer, he's able to put you in the place that you are singing about. So if you are setting out from a desert on a very long journey, almost never-ending journey, it feels like that as well.
Well, Jonathan's been of great importance for us. It's incredible to have a composer who started his career with us with an opera and has produced lots of other operas, but has also written across such a wide range of musical genre and has managed to find a huge audience for the music that he creates, and to be the publisher of a catalogue of that breadth is extremely exciting.
For me though, it's about the fact that the man can write a great tune, but also he writes music that connects with people. People have an emotional response to Jonathan's music. So some of my really, really favourite moments in the last 20 odd years as a publisher have been in concert halls and opera houses, watching audiences' reactions to Jonathan's music. It's wonderful.
3, and...
I think a great thing for composers to do is to find opportunities for all kinds of social interaction. And something I particularly enjoyed is writing pieces where brilliant professionals are performing alongside amateurs, amateur adults and children. And everyone gains from that, because the professionals, seeing the joy and exuberance in the young, inexperienced performers, remember why they started playing in the first place, and it kind of rekindles their own enthusiasm. And of course they're a great inspiration then for the young and the less experienced performers, and so that makes the amateurs raise their game.
Perhaps it's the secret of his success all over the world. His open-minded view on the world, on the people, his curiosity. We love to perform his music. We love to bring people together to perform his music. And we think it's really unique in the world of music.
Jonathan Dove is the Benjamin Britten of today. I think it's as simple as that. I think The Monster in the Maze is better than Noah's Flood, and they are the two great community youth operas of all time. And I very happily do the Britten, but the Dove is better.
Right now I'm very excited about all the pieces I'm going to write, and some of them I know exactly what the stories are going to be, and others I haven't found yet, but I'm looking forward to all of it.